Yeah. Hi guys. In the last session, we discussed about what is microservices architecture and what components will be available in the microservices. So in the microservices, we have seen service registry, admin server, Jipkin server, backend services will be available. These backend services we are calling as REST APIs. Then API gateway will be available. PN client will be available. Config server, Kafka, Redis, and Docker will be available. What is the purpose of service registry, guys? What is the role of service registry? Service registry is used to maintain list of services available in our application. Okay, service registry, it will provide name, status, and URL of the services. So how many services available in our application? What is the name of that service? What is the status? That means whether that service is running or not, and URLs of the service. So a microservice can have single instance. A microservice can have multiple instances also. What is the meaning of instance? In how many servers it is running. If you run that in one server, then it is called as one instance. If it is running in multiple servers, multiple instances. Why do we need multiple instances for the microservice? For load balancing. If you run your application in one server, then all the requests will go to single server, burden will be increased on that server. We will use Eureka as a service registry. Service registry is also called as discovery server. It is also called as discovery server. What is the meaning of discovery server? It is used to identify the URLs of the service based on the name of the service. So which one we are going to use as a service registry? Eureka server. We are going to use Eureka server. We can use as service registry. Eureka server we can use as service registry. Okay, good, fine. Next one, we are having admin server. Before going to admin server, could you please read these points? What is service registry? It is used to maintain list of services available in our application. The service registry will provide name, status, and URLs of the services. That means how many instances are running, what is the status of them, what are the URLs of them. Service registry is also called as discovery server. We are going to use Eureka server as a service registry. Next one, we are having admin server. What is the purpose of this admin server? It is used to monitor and manage actuators of all the services. Okay, admin server, it is used to monitor and manage actuator endpoints of all services at one place. Generally, if you want to monitor, actuators are sufficient. When the actuator is already available, why should we go for admin server? It will provide one common platform where we can access all the services at one place, where we can monitor all the services at one place. That's why we are going for admin server. It will provide UI page to monitor and manage. So if you have 20 services also, all the 20 services can be monitored at one place by using admin server. Admin server will provide user interface also for monitoring and managing. And the next one, we are having Jipkin server. What is the purpose of this Jipkin server in the microservices? Jipkin server, it is used for distributed tracing. Jipkin server is used for distributed tracing. What is the meaning of distributed tracing? How many services involved in request processing? How many services involved in request processing? Time taken by each service in request processing. When I send a request, 3 services executed in the backend. First service calling second service calling third service. all three services executed for single request. In all these three services, what is the time taken by each service? Which service is taking more time? Which service is fast? Which service is slow? That can be identified by using this Jipkin server. Okay, good. Service registry. We are going to use Eureka server as a service registry, which is maintaining list of the services available in the project. Admin server to monitor and manage all services at one place. Jipkin server, it is used for distributed tracing. How many services involved in the request processing? What is the time taken by each service in the request processing? We can identify by using Jipkin servers. Next one, we are going to develop backend APIs. These are REST APIs we are going to develop for our application. What is the meaning of backend APIs? So these are called as REST APIs. These are called as REST APIs. We can have multiple REST APIs in one application. We can have multiple REST APIs in one application. Okay, these are loosely coupled. So these are independently deployable, independently executable. These are called backend services. Our backend services will act as a client for Eureka, act as a client for admin, act as a client for Jipkin, act as a client for config server also. Okay, fine. Next one, we are having PN client. One service can communicate with another service. One service can communicate with another service, which is called as inter-service communication. So within the application, one service can access another service, which is called inter-service communication. How do we do that inter-service communication? We will use PN client for inter-service communication. So why we are using PN client? PN client will take care of client-side load balancing. With the help of the ribbon, PN client will take care of client-side load balancing. We will use PN client for inter-service communication. And next one, we are having API gateway. So what is the role of API gateway? What is the role of API gateway in our application, guys? It is entry point. It is entry point for all backend APIs of our application. Okay, so it contains filters plus routing. It contains filters plus routing. What is the meaning of a filter? It is used to verify which request is valid, which request is invalid. So which request we need to process, which request we should not process, that logic will be available in the API gateway. What is routing? It is used to forward the request to particular backend API. It acts as a mediator between this API gateway acts as mediator between incoming requests and backend APIs. Okay, request is coming to execute backend API, but API gateway will be acting as a mediator. It acts as a mediator between incoming requests and our backend APIs. Perfect. Service registry, admin server, Jipkin server, backend APIs, and API gateway is available. Along with these things, we are going to use Kafka. Kafka will act as what, guys? Kafka will act as message broker. So what is that message broker and all? We'll discuss in the coming classes. Redis we will use for distributed caching, right? So if any static data which you want to use in several applications, that data will be maintained in the Redis. All our microservices will communicate with the Redis to get that static data. Config server is used to externalize config properties of our application. In microservices, we are going to use config server. What is the purpose of this? Config server is used to externalize config props of our application. It is used to make our application loosely coupled with the properties. As of now, we are configuring the properties within the application. So if you configure the properties within the application, tomorrow if you want to change that property, that become difficult, right? When you change, again we need to compile, again we need to package, again we need to run the application. So that's why always the properties we are going to separate from the application. For that we are going to use config server. Good. Look at this diagram. API gateway contains filters and routing. Service registry, we are using Eureka as a service registry. Admin server is available. Jipkin server available. Backend API is available. One API can communicate with another API. For that we will use FIAN client. Then our APIs can communicate with third-party APIs also. And our APIs can communicate with Kafka. Our APIs can communicate with Redis. API can communicate with the config server. API can connect with one or more databases also. DB access also will be available. Perfect. Now here, let's start developing this application, guys. Let's start developing one project by using all these concepts. Fine. So let's go to our IDE. First, I am going to create one project called Service Registry Project. Service Registry, Admin Server, Jipkin Server, all these three are independent. Is there any relation between Service Registry, Admin Server and Jipkin Server? No. So let me create my Service Registry project by using Eureka Server. Okay. File, New, Spring Starter Project. Service Registry. Maven, jar file, click on Next. Dependencies. What is the dependency we want to use to create service registry? Go here, search with Eureka. So what is the option we are getting? Eureka client is there, Eureka server is there. Service registry is a Eureka server. Our backend APIs are Eureka clients. So when you are creating service registry application, we need to select which dependency, guys? Eureka server dependency. When you are creating REST API, then we will select client dependency. Now select the dependency called Eureka server. This Eureka server coming from which library? It is coming from which library? Spring Cloud Netflix Eureka server. Spring Cloud Netflix Eureka server. Netflix means not that one which is providing movies. Okay, that Netflix is different. This Netflix is different. This Netflix is a library available in the Spring Cloud. Good. Select this one. Click on Next. Finish. How many dependencies I selected? One is the DevTools. Another one is Eureka server. That's it. The project is getting created. Go to pom.xml. So here, if you see the dependency that we have selected, and you need to remember, in the interview, they will ask which version of Spring Cloud you are using. If you say that you are working on microservices, then definitely we are using Spring Cloud. When you say that you are using Spring Cloud, they will ask you which version of the Spring Cloud you are using in the project. Java version 17 we are using, Spring Boot 3.2 we are using, Spring Cloud 2023.0.0. This is our Spring Cloud version. So dependency we selected this. Spring Cloud Starter Netflix Eureka server dependency we are getting for our application. Just one dependency we have added. Then in order to represent this application as a Eureka server application, along with this start annotation, we need to use one more annotation called enable Eureka server. What is the annotation? Enable Eureka server annotation we are using. So if you use this annotation at the start class, then this application will act as a Eureka server application. It will act as a service registry. It will act as a discovery server. Fine. I have created one project, and by selecting Eureka server dependency, and I added one annotation called enable Eureka server. Then simply let us start our application. I have not done any other change, guys. Now right click, run as boot application. What is the default port number? 8080. It is using Tomcat embedded container. So, but it is failing. Why? Port 8080 already in use. So let's change that. Properties file is available. Convert that properties file to YML file. I'm updating the properties file to YML file. Server.port. Server.port. 1 minute. Server.port selected. So you can configure port number different value other than 8080. I'm going with 8081. Refresh. Update this. Whenever you change YML, you need to do the Maven update, guys. Do the Maven update so that this YML file data will be loaded properly. Then once it is done, run as boot application. I'm running this project. Yeah. Application started, cannot execute request on any known servers. There was a problem with the instance of the replica. So can you see this one? What it is expecting? What is the port number it is expecting? 8761. What is the port number we have given? 8081. Okay, it is a known issue. Clear this. My application started with the port number 8081. So did I develop any UI pages in this project? Did I create any class? No. Just I created project with Eureka server dependency. I added one annotation to the start class. Enable Eureka server. Go to browser. Let's access this Eureka server application. So go to browser, localhost colon 8081. Localhost colon 8081. So when I access that URL, what happened, guys? What happened now? When I access that project with 8081, I'm getting one dashboard. I'm getting one dashboard. Is this dashboard developed by us? No, it is provided by Spring Cloud. Now, what is this dashboard? This dashboard will tell you how many instances are registered with the Eureka. That means how many backend services available in our application. Okay, currently any backend application available, backend application not available, backend application not available. So with this our Eureka server is ready. With this we no need to do anything else. Just we created one project with a dependency and we have started our application. With this Eureka server is ready. What is the purpose of Eureka server? It will provide how many backend instances are available, how many microservices available in our application. Currently, do we have any microservice or we don't have any microservice? Currently, we don't have any microservice. And remember, here guys, when we create Eureka server project, we are using port number as 8081. But actually, for Eureka server, the recommended port number is 8761. That is the default port number for the Eureka, 8761. You can use any port number also, but the recommended port number is 8761. Sir, what is the benefit? What is the benefit if we give the port number as 8761? Understand. The benefit is if Eureka server is running on the different port number, not 8761, it is 8080 or 8081, 8082. If you use different port number for the Eureka server, then manually we need to register our APIs with the Eureka server. Client should be registered manually with the Eureka server if Eureka server port number is different. Okay, suppose if Eureka server port number is 8761, if Eureka server port number is 8761, client can be auto register with the Eureka. You no need to register client manually with the Eureka. If Eureka running on the 8761, if Eureka running on the different port number, what will happen? Client cannot be registered automatically. We need to register the client application manually with the Eureka server. That means whenever you create your backend application as a Eureka client, by default, this client will search for Eureka with 8761 port number. If it is available, auto register. If it is not available, it will not register. Are you getting my point? So can we change that port number to 8761? Yes, I'm changing the port number to 8761. Sir, if a port number is different, how to register manually? I will show you that property also. Currently, we are going with auto register option. I changed that property. Do the Maven update, force update. Okay, good. So earlier it was 8081. Now just the port number is updated to 8761. Refresh, right click, run as boot app. Now Eureka server is running with the port number 8761. Okay. Last time we got the exception. So this exception is there. Can you check it? What it is telling? Discovery client was unable to refresh. Background refresh will be retried in 30 seconds. Cannot execute any request on this known server. Okay. Clear this console. Go to browser. Refresh this project. Okay. Now port number is changed. Localhost colon 8761. Now Eureka dashboard is coming. Okay. Earlier instances registered with Eureka. Earlier any service registered with Eureka, no service registered with the Eureka. But now what happened? One unknown service is registered with the Eureka. Sir, what is that unknown server? Here, whatever the project we created as a Eureka server, same project is registered with the Eureka as a client also. We have created one Eureka server project. That same project is also acting as Eureka client. So do we want same project should act as a client or microservices should act as a client for Eureka? Microservices should act as a client for Eureka. So for this, we need to make one property. We need to make one change with the property, that is register service register with Eureka. Eureka registry client register with Eureka. We need to make it as a false value. Let me check it. Eureka.client.register with Eureka. Can you see this property? Can you read this property? Eureka client register with Eureka is false. By default, that property is true. What is the meaning of that property is true? Same project is registering with the Eureka as a client. That project I created for server, not for the client. I need to stop same project registration with the Eureka server. How do we stop it? By configuring Eureka client register with you. That means I have 42 application number is 42. That application is acting as a Eureka server with the port number 8761, and that same 42 application should not register as a client for Eureka. How do I stop the same registration, same project registration as a client? By using this property. Eureka client register with Eureka false. This project should not act as a client. This project is a server project. So to stop that registration, we need to write this property in our YML file. Now stop this one, refresh, right click, run as boot application. Earlier, same project registered with Eureka as a client. Now, same project should not register with Eureka as a client application. Okay, let's go to browser. Now, earlier, same project is registered with Eureka. Now, refresh. This time, what it is saying? No instances are available. So, with this, our Eureka server project is ready. What are the steps I have done to create the Eureka server project? One Spring Boot application with Eureka server dependency. and one annotation I have added, and in the YML file, two properties I have added. What are the two properties I have added? One is port number. What is the recommended port for the Eureka server? 8761. Why only 8761? Clients can be auto registered with the Eureka. If a port number is not 8761, client manually should be registered with the Eureka server. And what is the purpose of this property? What is the purpose of this property? Eureka client register with Eureka, false. What is the meaning of that? Same application should not act as a client. That's why I'm writing Eureka client registered with Eureka as a false value. Are you able to understand? Perfect. Next, once Eureka server project is ready, now next I'm going to create admin server project. Eureka server is ready. What is the port number I used for Eureka? The port number is 8761. Okay, that is the recommended port that we are using. Port number we are using 8761. Next up, I'm going to develop admin server project. What is the purpose of admin server? What is the purpose of admin server? It is used to monitor and manage all the actuator endpoints at one place. Good. Before going to create admin server, are you guys clear with this one? Are you guys clear with this one? Service registry is used to maintain list of services available in our application. It will provide the name, it will provide the status, and it will provide URL of the services. It is also called as discovery server. Which server we are using as discovery server? Eureka server. How to create Eureka server? Dependency. What is the annotation we are using for that? @enable Eureka server. Where we are writing that annotation? At the start class. At the start class we are using enable Eureka server. Are you clear? Good. Next up, let me create one more project as a admin server. Okay. How to register manually? Once client is developed, I will explain that. So as of now, client is not available. What is the meaning of client? Our REST API. When our REST API is developed, I will show you how auto registration will happen, how manual registration will happen. Got it? Now, let me create new project. File new Spring Starter project. This one, 43 application, which we are going to call as a admin server. Okay. Maven jar, click on next. DevTools. Okay. Next one. What is the dependency now? Admin server. Okay. Type this one. Admin client is available. Admin server is available. Observe carefully. Eureka server is coming from Spring Cloud. Spring Cloud is one module. How we have Spring Core, Spring MVC, Spring AOP. Similarly, in the Spring framework, Spring Cloud is one module. But here, when you go for admin server, admin client, these are not from the Spring framework. These are from a company called CodeCentric. There is a company called CodeCentric company is available. That company provided admin server, admin client. Admin server will provide the UI to manage our application. Our REST API will act as a client for the admin server. Now we are going to create admin server. Select this dependency. CodeCentric admin server dependency we have selected. Okay. Click on next. Click on finish. That's it. So with this, our 43 application is created, which is admin server application. Go to its pom.xml. Go to its pom.xml. Check this pom.xml. What is the version of admin server? 3.2.1. Is it same as our Spring Boot version? Not same as Spring Boot version. Not same. That means admin server is not from Spring Boot. Admin server is from CodeCentric. Now, admin starter server dependency. What is the group ID? de.codecentric. That is a different company dependency, third-party dependency. That third-party dependency we are using in our application. Okay, that's it. one dependency I have selected admin starter server. Fine. Now to represent this project as a admin server, here we will write one annotation that is enable admin server. Earlier enable Eureka server. Now we are using enable admin server. That's it. Now go to properties file, change it to YML. I'm changing this profile to YML file. Port number, different, any port number you can use. Any port number you can use. Server.port. Server.port. Let me give this port number as some 9090. Admin server port number I'm giving as 9090. You can give anything. There is no rule that you need to use some default port number. Okay. Let me update this project. Maven force update. Yes, admin server is ready. Let us start this. Run as boot application. Okay, this project is started. Go to browser. Eureka is already running, which is running on the port number 8761. Now, localhost colon 9090. When I access localhost colon 9090, what happened now? Spring Boot admin server dashboard is coming. Who is providing this UI? Is it our UI or it is given by admin server? What it is saying now? Currently, there is no client for the admin server. There is no client for admin server. Our REST APIs should act as client for the admin server. Our REST API should act as a client for admin server. Now, if you have 20 applications, all those 20 applications will be displayed here. From here, you can access those endpoints, actuator endpoints. Your REST API actuator endpoints, you can access from this UI page. That is called monitoring and managing all the APIs at one place. Now, can you read the theory? What we discussed about admin server? What we discussed about admin server? Admin server is used to monitor and manage actuator endpoints of all services at one place. Admin server will provide UI page to monitor and manage. Are we able to see that UI page? Yes, it is not our UI page. If you add that dependency, if you use that annotation, by default, this UI page is coming for us. This page is used to monitor and manage our APIs. Actuators we can access. Our API actuator we can access from this page. What about Eureka? What is there in this Eureka? In this dashboard, it will display how many projects available, how many APIs available, what is the name of the API, what is the status of the API, what is the URL of the API, how many instances available for the API. Everything will be displayed in the Eureka. The purpose of Eureka admin server, same or different? The purpose of Eureka server, purpose of admin server, same or different? Different, right? What is the purpose of Eureka? Display. Just display what are the services available. And it is used for discovery. Then what is the purpose of admin server? What is the purpose of admin server? Admin server is used to monitor and manage all APIs at one place. Are you clear with this one? So what is the process to create these projects? Add the dependency, use the annotation, change port numbers. That's it. Enable Eureka server, enable admin server also. Are you guys clear? Good. Next one. What is the next server we need to create, guys? Zipkin. So this server port number I'm using as 9090. Any port number you can use. Any port number you can use. Later, when I develop my API, my backend REST API, my backend REST API will register with Eureka as a client. My backend REST API will register with admin server also as a client. Currently, backend API is not ready. Now, next I am going for Zipkin server. Zipkin server, you no need to develop. You no need to develop the Zipkin server. For Zipkin server, ready-made jar file is available. Zipkin project already developed they provided that project jar file. We just need to run that jar file to access Jipkin dashboard. What is the purpose of this Jipkin? Can you tell me? What is the purpose of Jipkin? It is used for distributed tracing. What distributed tracing we can do by using Jipkin? How many services involved in request processing? What is the time taken by each service in the request processing? Which service is slow? Which service is faster? That data we can get by using this Jipkin server. How to set up Jipkin server? Simple. Go to Google, download Jipkin server. Okay, download Jipkin server jar file. Okay, click on this one. So Jipkin.io official website is available. So you can run Jipkin by using Docker. You can run the Jipkin as a jar file also. Here Java, if you have Java 17 or higher installed, the easiest way to start the Jipkin is download this latest release of the Jipkin. So click on this latest release. So when I click on latest release, what is happening? What is happening now? Jipkin server is downloaded as a jar file. That is also one Spring Boot application. Jipkin project is developed by using Spring Boot. They packaged it as a jar file. Now go to this jar and run this jar file. Take this jar file, keep it in our folder. Here I'm keeping my Jipkin jar file. How do we run that jar file? Already they have given a command. What is the command to run this jar file? Java space -jar space jar file name. Okay, open command prompt from here. Open command prompt from here. My jar is available here. Java space -jar space Jipkin jar file I am using. Java space -jar space Jipkin jar I am using. Click on enter. Can I say it is a banner of Jipkin? How we have a Spring Boot banner, they have a Jipkin banner. Okay. Now Jipkin server is trying to start. No SLF4j, defaulting logger, ignoring log4j jar. Okay. With this our Jipkin jar file is started. With this Jipkin server is started. Okay. So let me access this Jipkin. Localhost colon 9411. 9411 is the default port number of our Jipkin server. So with this, if you see, our Eureka server is running with the port number 8761. Admin server is running with 9090. Jipkin server is running with 9411. So you can search here. You can search with your service name. Currently, when I click on this query, any results are coming? No. Why results are not coming now? Why results are not coming now? No API is available. There is no client for Jipkin. There is no client for admin server. There is no client for Eureka server. Just our servers are started. Eureka server started, admin server started, Jipkin server started. Is there any relation between these servers, or there is no relation between these servers now? There is no there is a relation or there is no relation? These three are independent services. All these three are independent services. Look at this. Jipkin server we are running as this service registry we created. Admin server we created. But Jipkin server ready-made is available. Now read these points. Service registry. Read this. It is used to maintain list of services available in our application. It will provide application name, application status, and application URL. This is also called as discovery server. Eureka server we can use as a service registry. Then what is the next one? Admin server. What is the purpose of this admin server? It is used to monitor and manage actuator endpoints of all services at one place. Then admin server is providing UI page to monitor and manage. Then we are going for Jipkin server. ఇంటికి వచ్చారా ఒకసారి మాట్లాడే వాళ్ళతో చెప్పేసి Jipkin server is there. Jipkin server is used for distributed tracing. How many services involved in the request processing and what is the time taken by each service for the request processing? We can monitor by using this Jipkin server. Then next one. How do we configure this Jipkin server? How do we set up this Jipkin server and how do we set up this admin server? How do we set up this service registry? Anybody having any questions on that? How we created Eureka server project? How we created admin server project? How we created Jipkin server project? Development wise, any questions? Development wise, do you have any questions? The process of creating Jipkin server, the process of creating admin server, the process of creating Eureka server. Anybody having any questions on that? Online students? Nine 9411 port number we can change also, no problem, because we are running that jar file, right? How do we run the jar file, guys? How we are running that jar file? Java space -jar space jar file. I'm running this Jipkin jar file like this. What is the default port number it is taking? The default port number it is taking 9411. Suppose I don't want 9411. Then you can do like this. -d server dot port is equal to something like this. So you can pass port number for the Spring Boot application in the runtime. So you can if you don't set the port number, default 8080. If you want, you can change that port number. If you want to set the port number while executing the project, this is the option. -d server dot port is equal to 9999. Then Jipkin server will run on the 9999 port number. If I don't set this port number, what is the default port number it is taking? 9411. So with this, our 3 servers are ready. With this, our 3 servers are ready. Got it? Okay. So one is Eureka server, another one is admin server, another one is Jipkin server. Are you guys clear with this one? What is the next step for us now? What is the next step for us now? This is ready. This is ready. This is ready. Then what is the next step now? We need to develop our backend API. But that backend API, can I call it is a client for Eureka? Can I call it is a client for admin? Can I call it is a client for Jipkin? Yes. So whatever backend API we are going to develop, that backend API will act as a client for Eureka, will act as a client for admin, will act as a client for Jipkin also. That means when we are creating this backend application, we need to select Eureka discovery client, admin client, and Jipkin client. So 3 dependencies we need to add. So it should register with Eureka, it should register with admin, it should register with Jipkin. So in order to develop our client application, we need to add Eureka client dependency, admin server client dependency, then we need to add Jipkin client dependency, we need to add actuator dependency, we need to add web starter dependency. Our REST API should have a REST controller. If our REST API should have a REST controller, what is the dependency we will use? We will use web starter. What is the purpose of actuator? For monitoring purpose. But where do we monitor? In the admin server we will monitor. How our project will go to admin server dashboard? Our project acting as a client. Our project should be monitored in the Jipkin also. Our project should act as a Jipkin client. Our project should be displayed in the Eureka dashboard. That's why our project should act as a Eureka client also. Are you guys able to follow this? Eureka client, admin client, Jipkin client, actuator, and web starter. So if you are developing our API should have all these dependencies. This is actual microservice we are going to develop. The microservice we are developing will act as a client for Eureka, will act as a client for admin, will act as a client for Jipkin also. Are you guys able to understand this? All this development procedure, guys. I'm not writing each and everything here because that procedure is already available. Microservice nodes is already available. In that I have given step by step how to create Eureka project, how to create admin project, how to create Jipkin, how to create APIs, backend APIs. So here microservices nodes will be available. In this microservices nodes, I have given clear information about steps to develop Eureka server. What are the steps we need to follow to develop Eureka server? Create one application with dependency. What is the dependency? Eureka server dependency. How to represent this application as Eureka server? By enabling Eureka server annotation in the start class. Configure port number. What is the port number I am using? 8761. And another port. What is the purpose of this port? Register with Eureka as false. Same application should not act as a client. Now read this point. You understand the concept. If the port number is 8761, what is the benefit? Client can auto register with the service registry. If it is not 8761, manually we need to register. How to access Eureka dashboard? Localhost colon 8761. What are the steps to develop admin server? Create application with admin server dependency. Then use this annotation at the start class. Then change port number. It is mandatory or optional? Optional. We can access admin server UI. Then how to work with the Jipkin server? Download Jipkin jar file. How to run that jar file? Java space hyphen jar space jar file. What is the default port number? 9411. Then access Jipkin dash. So these steps are sufficient for you to develop this application. I'm not writing every step again. Already notes is available. After the class, I will share that. What is the procedure we need to follow to develop this application? Okay. Next one, we need to develop one application that is a client application. We are going to develop one welcome API. So what we are going to do to develop this welcome API? Discovery client. It should act as a client with Eureka, web starter, DevTools, actuator, Jipkins client, then admin client. We need to write enable discovery client annotation for the start class. So here, if your Eureka server port number is not 8761, you need to configure this property to register client with Eureka manually. If your Eureka is running on 8761, this property not required. If it is not 8761, this is the property to register client with Eureka manually. Somebody asked me in the chat, how to register client manually? By writing this property, client can be registered with the Eureka. If Eureka is running on 8761, property is required or not required? Not required. How our application will act as a client for admin server? This is the property. This property is used to make our application is a client for admin. This property is used to register our application with Eureka server manually. But this property is a mandatory or this property is optional. If the Eureka is running on 8761, this property is optional. And what is this property? Actuators. I want to enable actuator endpoints in my application. To enable actuator endpoints, we are going to write web exposure like this we are going to do, which is going to enable actuator endpoints of our application. Are you guys clear with my point? Good. Can we develop one client or tomorrow? Tomorrow. Overloaded? Overloaded. Okay, fine. Then service registry, PN client, gateway. If you want, you can try that, guys. Up to this one, I'm going to give the notes. How do we develop these things? Yeah, notes is updated. In the notes, I have given the steps also. What is the procedure we need to follow to develop our application? Theoretical part is available and practicals. Steps to develop Eureka server. Steps to develop admin server. Steps to work with Jipkin, and steps to develop welcome API. This is our first microservice we are going to develop. This microservice will act as a client for Eureka, will act as a client for admin, will act as a client for Jipkin also. So procedure I have given, properties also I have given. Try to do this. In the tomorrow session, we are going to develop 2 microservices with inter-service communication. Are you clear? Good. Any questions, anyone? Online students, anybody having any question? You can unmute and you can ask me.
So like,
Yeah,
what
hi,
if
sir.
all three servers-
Go
what
ahead.
if all three servers?
One
What
by
if all
one.
these three servers are in the same project? Like, so how do we like manually configure the port for each server?
Sir, no, the manually port configuration is not required, sir, because every project will run in the separated Docker container. You no need to configure the ports manually.
So I mean, like, so can all three servers run on the same port?
No, if you are using same machine, definitely you need to use 3 different ports.
Okay.
If you are running in 3 Docker containers, then same port can be used for them.
Got it. So you're gonna show that, right? Docker,
Right.
I think.
Yes. Guys, can you check notes is updated along with the development steps also?
Yeah, hi, Ashok. How
Yes,
we
sir.
actually work with a Jipkin server in real time? Like here, we actually run the jar file in our local.
In the real time
Yeah.
also same thing. In one Linux machine, that jar file will be running.
Okay.
Yep. Is the notes updated? Yeah. Any other question, guys?
Hello, sir.
Yep.
Sir, in real-time project, all 3 servers are need to use. Yeah, only
Sir, I told
one or
you,
two.
nothing is mandatory here. Jipkin is not mandatory. Admin is not mandatory. Eureka is also not mandatory. It depends on the project requirement. Chandu, hello. Well, no.
Okay.
నేను 5 minutes లో వస్తున్నాను చెప్పు. Guys, here someone is asking, do we need to use all these 3 servers? What I told, is there any standard architecture for microservices? Using these 3 servers is optional. It depends on your requirement. If your project requires, then only use it. If not required, no need to use it. So there is no rule that in the real time everybody will use all the 3 servers. You got my point?
The fin client can be used for asynchronous also, sir.
Yeah, we can make it also asynchronous also. I will show you that as well. Yeah. Guys, I think the notes is updated with all the procedure. So I want you people to follow that notes and I want you people to develop that project before coming to tomorrow's session. What we are going to do in the tomorrow session? What we are going to do in the tomorrow session? 2 APIs we will develop and we will establish inter-service communication also. Got it? Yep. Any other question?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Tomorrow also take long session, sir.
Tomorrow is regular session. Tomorrow I have other class also.
Diagram, where it will be available in the notes, sir.
Yes, sir. Notes is already updated.
Note diagrams, whatever diagrams.
Diagram I shared in the WhatsApp group. Please check it.
Sir, remaining videos of your on your YouTube channel, are any chance to get?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
already all the videos we got back in our channel, sir. Our channel
Collection
is back.
playlist. Yes, sir. Collection playlist.
That is also available.
Yes, sir. I check it.
I will share that once again.
Sir, please upload the JRTP videos of yesterday lecture.
Sure, sir. Sure.
So today lecture at what time it get updated?
Sorry?
Today lecture, I mean today's recording at what
In
time?
another half an hour it will be uploaded, sir.
So thank you, sir.
Yeah. Good,
Sir,
guys.
when we put this service in Kubernetes,
Sorry?
when we put this in Kubernetes, will it be on a project level or on a cluster level, sir?
Sir, in the Kubernetes, it's not part of our content as of now. Once we go to that Kubernetes class, I will clarify that doubt.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, sir.
Yeah.
YAML file, I'm not
Please.
able to write the properties.
YAML file, you are not able to. Please refer some videos in YouTube. You need to learn the YAML. I already explained in the course how to work with YAML. I will make one video on the YAML, sir. Okay.
Hello.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, you have please provide the separate to Spring course.
Sorry?
Spring course access.
Spring?
Spring course access. Spring Boot course only.
Huh.
Uh,
I'm not getting your question.
if you have provided the Spring course, Spring Boot access, I'm asking that one.
Please call the admin team, sir. I'm not getting your doubt. Please talk to them. Okay.
Okay.
Sir, can we use IntelliJ for the next projects, like for the upcoming projects?
Yes, sir.
Sir, as you told, API can load it in different server by a round robin server.
Yes.
And allocated, then how like server X will communicate with server Y if in case of any updation?
We'll discuss in the load balancing topic.
Okay, thank you.
Fine. Yes, next.
Yeah, are we going to use a multiple instance for service registry also?
No, sir. Service registry one will be available. Backend APIs will be having multiple instances.
Like if that server is gone down means then what? How to communicate, sir?
We'll tell you, sir. Robust services will be available. I will tell you that.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. Good. Fine, guys. Thank you. With this, I'm stopping for today. We'll meet in the tomorrow session. Please do the practice. Whatever we discussed in the class today, please do the practice. Today evening, I'm not taking JRTP class. Whatever we practiced yesterday in the class, I want you to complete that one. JRTP class, we don't have evening. We have JRTP class tomorrow evening. So tomorrow we will complete that registration page. So today, I want you people to sit here, complete this microservice, what we developed, and JRTP second project also. Up to registration, you have to complete. Registration we will develop in the tomorrow session. Okay. If I take that also today, it will become burden for you. Morning this microservice project, evening that mini project. So take time and do that practice before coming to tomorrow session. We have next session tomorrow. Thank you.